I hope you're having a great start to your week and are in the thick of making some Valentines, getting in the Valentine's Day spirit, all of those good things. I have another really fun project that you can work on today or this weekend that adds to your Valentine decor. And it can be used for a lot of different holidays and celebrations as well, not just Valentine's Day. So we will be getting to that in just a moment. Hi, Robin. Thanks for saying hello. Be sure to put your comments, questions, all of that good stuff in the live chat or the comments box below, because if you do so, you will be automatically eligible to win today's door prize or little gifty from Sulky. Every time we do a So What episode here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, we give something great away, and it is Sulky Perfect Appliqué, which is super exciting. I will get to that in a moment as well. Perfect Appliqué is Sulky's Fusible web, and that's what we're going to be working with today. Fusible web and some great threads to create an applique project. All right, so again, before we get to that, hi Deb, good to see you. I have some craft tours news as well, which I know I already have been telling you all about that, but we'll get to that a little bit later. If you're not familiar with craft tours, it is a company that we partner with to bring you super exciting craft-related trips of a lifetime. And Deb actually was on one of our craft tours, and I love seeing your name every week on So What. It brings me so much joy. All right, let's get to it here. I would like to know who out there has joined us for our next level Serger Success sewing session. So many S's in that. Love it. This is a long format sewing session on our education platform, which is sewingonline.sulky.com. And this sewing session is brought to you in partnership with Katrina Walker, who is really a mega serger expert. And this kind of piggybacks on the session we did last year called Serger Basics and Beyond. Basics and Beyond, yes. Our Serger sewing session, Basics and Beyond. Now, if you haven't taken Basics and Beyond, that's totally fine. You can jump into Next Level Serger Success. It's a little bit more intermediate as far as Serger education goes, and we're kind of building up to getting used to using our Serger more often and letting it take care of a lot of sewing tasks that we do all the time that might take a little bit more time on the standard sewing machine. And so Katrina is teaching us in Next Level Serger Success how to do a lot of those things on our serger so that we not only get more use out of our serger, but we can complete those things faster and have more fun doing it, and sometimes, most of the time, with better accuracy. So think about creating ruffles and pleats. Think about sewing circles. Think about different edge treatments. And she really goes into using some serger feet and attachments that you can add on to your serger purchase to really have a lot of fun and, again, do those things with better accuracy, quicker, faster, all of those great things that we love. So if you are interested in taking your serger education to the next level, maybe getting your serger out of the closet and dusting it off, this is the session for you. With purchase of this sewing session, you get a really great pattern for a serge as you go or quilt as you go with a serger table runner that Katrina also explains during the session and shows you from start to finish how to complete that table runner. You can also even bind it using your serger if you prefer. Katrina shows you how to bind it using your sewing machine, but there are attachments for that too. I know, super fun. All right. In addition to the table runner, there's also a bonus project for making a coaster set and a coaster holder, a little box to house your little coasters in. And what I love about the pattern that comes with this session is that the items that you're making is really your way of practicing all of the techniques that she teaches you during the session. So you don't have to make a bunch of samples that maybe you can't use for something. You can make these beautiful projects while you're learning the techniques and building your skills, and then you have something to show for it. And I really love that. Speaking of the project, here is the kit that goes with the project. Of course, we have a kit that you can grab up at a great deal. This is a crazy price on all of these items in the kit. The kit includes enough fabrics, Sulky Felty, batting, Perfect Appliqué, which we're going to talk about some more today, and 3 king spools of Sulky Poly Deco thread. This is what Katrina uses in the Serger. I know you don't have to go out and buy Serger thread, which a lot of the time is lesser quality, breaks easy. It doesn't even feel good next to your skin after you sew it. So Poly Deco thread makes for a really nice strong seam, and for those edges where the edges are showing, maybe a flat locked seam or a rolled edge hem treatment, this is beautiful thread that's going to look good and feel good against your skin once your item is complete. At any rate, this kit is available to go along with the Serger session, and you can create these beautiful projects with it. Here is just a shot of that table runner with little Valentine decor, but you can see that the fabrics lend themselves to any time of year. It's nice and springy, would be great Mother's Day decor, things like that. All right, and you can also kind of mix and match your fabrics a little bit because the table runner is totally reversible. Since you are doing this quilt as you go method that Katrina explains in all of the videos, you can swap up the fabrics and make it look a little bit different if you want, and really make it your own at the end of the day. So join our Serger session if you haven't already. If you have a Serger that's collecting dust, or you only use it for knit garments, or you only use it for rolled hems or something like this, let's get more use of that investment. All right. Also, another brand new event you can register for in advance at sewingonline.sulky.com. This is our February webcast, Machine Embroidery Basics and Beyond. This webcast is packed full of information. I am the host and instructor for this webcast, and we are presenting this to you in partnership with embroiderydesigns.com. So when you register for this webcast, you will receive an embroidery design pack that is valued at over $54. What? I know. Embroiderydesigns.com has generously provided a curated design pack that includes all kinds of different designs that we're going to go over in the webcast. So there's this Happy Easter applique design. We're going to talk about applique in the hoop. There is a larger scale quilting design. We're going to be talking about that, how to use different threads for it. There is a sort of scroll work butterfly design. And then, of course, the My Machine is Calling and I Must Sew. We're going to be talking about lettering designs and creating texture and dimension with satin fill stitches. So this is really a webcast for machine embroiderers of all skills. So if you are an absolute beginner and have never done machine embroidery before, but you think maybe I want to start, or I have this fancy machine, but I never use it for machine embroidery, join us for this free webcast. I'm going to be talking about terms to know, navigating your machine, different functions of the embroidery machine that maybe you know about but don't really know how to use or what have you. We are going to cover all kinds of sulky thread that you can use for machine embroidery. It's not just 40 weight rayon or polyester thread. As you know from being loyal So What viewers, oftentimes we can switch up those threads and get really cool special effects out of them. So I'm going to be going over tips and tricks for when you want to swap threads, things to think about. We're also going to go over stabilizers. What stabilizer do I use for this project, or what stabilizer do I use for this fabric? We are going to dive in and really I'm losing my train of thought here because there's so much to think about. We are really going to get specific with all of these questions that you might have for machine embroidery. And there's also a great kit that we have curated for this machine embroidery webcast as well. During the webcast, you will have the opportunity to create a reference binder for yourself, which I think I always have mine next to my machine. It's on the floor, but it's next to my machine. Creating a reference binder for your test stitch outs is one of the best things you can do for yourself if you want to, whether you're starting a machine embroidery journey, whether you have been doing machine embroidery forever. What do you do with all those test stitch outs that maybe you can't make into a final project? Create a reference binder so that when you go to do something similar, right? Let's say, oh, I want to use this poly sparkle thread and I want to create this quilt design. What stabilizer did I use and what needle did I use? Create yourself a little reference binder so you can go in and say, okay, this was a successful stitch out. I used 40 weight rayon, 60 weight in the bobbin. I used a sticky Fabri-Solvi stabilizer, and look how beautiful it came out. So you can put your test stitch outs in a binder for reference. It's something we are really going to talk about during this webcast. And this kit gives you so many things you can use for your reference binder, but you can also use it to create some beautiful projects. So all the threads in this kit are featured in the free designs that you get when you register for the webcast. So you'll get this yellow, pink, teal, chocolate brown that you'll use for Happy Easter and for the quilting design. You can mix and match and interchange those. You will also get the red color and a lime green. These are great springy colors for all of the holidays and, you know, special things coming up this spring. So you'll get all of those great colors so you can do loads of those stitch outs. And I should say that the designs offered, the reason that it's valued at $54+ is because you get these designs in all kinds of different sizes. And when you head on over to embroiderydesigns.com to shop for embroidery designs, you'll notice that each one of their designs, you have to purchase them separately if you want different sizes. But for this event, they have provided these designs in multiple sizes. So it's a really, really great value, great designs. Back to this kit. So all of these threads plus a bobbin thread, excuse me, 3 packs of needles. I'm going to go over my favorite needles for machine embroidery. It's not always an embroidery needle that you want to use depending on the fabric that you are embroidering. So we will dive into that at greater detail during the webcast. You will also get our stabilizer sampler pack. This is what I love to use when I am adding to my reference binder because inside is a sample of every single Sulky stabilizer. So you can use the same fabric. Let's say you mostly embroider on quilting cottons, right? You can take some quilting cotton, maybe it's in your stash, or you find it on sale and you get a bunch of yardage out of it. And you can create a sample using every single Sulky stabilizer to see how it performs for you. Take notes in your reference binder, and there you go. Invaluable information that you can keep next to your embroidery machine in your sewing studio at all times. All right, in addition to the stabilizer sampler, you will also get a printed sheet of Sulky Sticky Fabrisolve. Printed on there are our placement stickers, okay? What I love about the Sticky Fabrisolve placement stickers, I use them and reuse them until the sticky is gone. So they last a really long time. One sheet is going to last you a long time. Not only are they stickers, but they're water soluble. So if you put your placement sticker on your fabric and align your design and go through all the motions and you hit start and your sticker is still there, don't worry because it's going to wash off. You can simply use a wet Q-tip or cotton swab, or you can even just run your finished project under running water and your sticker will come right off. So no worries if you begin the stitch out and that placement sticker is still there. I've done it so many times and these are just awesome. And what I like to do is after I use it, I will just stick it to my machine somewhere. And then I have my placement sticker for the next time I need it. You can just stick that puppy anywhere you want, or you can put it back on your stabilizer sheet. You could see, I can't even tell you when I printed this out, and you could see how many that I've used. So you can stick it back on your stabilizer sheet and then use it next time when it's all out of sticky power. Just grab yourself another one. So that comes with purchase of the kit as well, and it's already pre-printed. You don't need to worry about grabbing a whole pack of Sticky Fabrisolve and printing out your one PDF of placement stickers. So that's a really handy part of the kit as well. So if you're joining for machine embroidery, basics and beyond, grab up this kit. It's at a super special price. And then you'll have all the threads that you need as well to stitch out all of your free designs. All right, so this is happening February 15th. It's on a Wednesday. Normally our webcasts and videocasts are on Tuesdays. So note that this is on a Wednesday. And that's really because Valentine's Day is February 14, and we don't want to take up your Valentine's Day lunch that you're having with your friends or loved ones, right? So we moved this a day, and it will be on Wednesday, February 15th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. It's absolutely free to register, and you will get these lovely designs that, again, you can use for test stitch outs to try out different fabric and stabilizer and thread and needle combos, or you can use those to create some really great projects for spring and spring holidays coming up. All right, so if you are grabbing up that kit and you want to get to the free shipping threshold, might I suggest that you grab up your Serger Table Runner kit at the same time, right? Then you get all these great projects you can make, fabrics, batting, felty, and a bunch of great designs from signing up for that webcast. All right, so I think somebody's asking how much is the kit? And great question. I can't remember off the top of my head, so I'm just going to check it out real fast. But I know it's at a great deal right now. Okay. The kit, oops, I lost it. I did link directly to this, I believe, in the description of today's post, but maybe I did not. All right. For machine embroidery basics and beyond, the kit is on sale for $39.99. I mean, that's almost the price of the thread alone. So amazing deal. The retail price of all of these items is $60.72. Amazing. I know. So that kit will be on sale until midnight, the night of our webcast. All right. So get it while the getting's good, right? Also, the Serger kit, if you're asking about that one, is on sale for $34.99, and that retail price is $51.19. So another great deal from Sulky, and again, you're going to get tons of use out of both of these kits. Okay, there was another question. Alicia says, how do I download the free designs and where is the kit? All right, so in the description of today's post, I'm trying to think of if I missed that in today's post. I may have. I apologize. So to sign up for the Machine Embroidery Basics and Beyond webcast, you'll need to go to sewingonline.sulky.com, and I'm just making sure that I have put it in all the places it needs to be for you to find it. We will also put the link in the comments today because I have to go through all these motions to make sure it is in our store and in the right place. All right, I'm just double checking that it is in our education offerings at sewingonline.sulky.com. And sure enough, I need to add it there. So we will take care of business right now. And at sewingonline.sulky.com, momentarily, you will find Machine Embroidery Basics and Beyond. It's absolutely free, that webcast. Now let's move it to the right spot. Our Serger sewing session is also there at the top of the page under sewing sessions, okay? That one is $19.99 because it's a larger format, or longer format, I should say, session. There we go. You'll find it under free webcasts. And you get tons of video content that you can refer back to and watch again and again at your leisure, whenever you like, when you're working on your serger. Ooh, there's some weird comments going on right now. All right, we need to fix that up. All right. And you also get that Quilt As You Go Serger Table Runner pattern and bonus coaster set and coaster project. You will get that PDF absolutely free when you sign up for the Serger session. So for your $19.99, you're getting all that content plus a pattern valued at $8.99, absolutely free. When you sign up for our Machine Embroidery Basics and Beyond free webcast, you can head on over to that event page and grab up all those great designs courtesy of embroiderydesigns.com. So that was a really long way of explaining to you how to sign up for the event and get the designs. And you find the kit at sulky.com. So sulky.com is where you find all of your fabrics, stabilizers, kits, what have you, all of your physical goods that you need sent to you, right? And then sewingonline.sulky.com is where you find all of our education and special events, all of our virtual events, videocasts, webcasts, etc. All right. Let's see. Okay. I see we're putting a placement sticker PDF guide on here. Yes. But when you purchase the Machine Embroidery Webcast, that placement sticker PDF is already printed onto sticky Fabrisolvy for you. So it's a great value added into that kit. You can see, oops, those are the designs. You could see that placement sticker PDF already printed right on to sticky Fabrisolvy included in that kit for you. Okay, let me just make sure we are all caught up on any questions regarding those events coming up. Let's see. Oh, Joanne says, I miss where to get the alignment stickers. That's why. Okay, so the alignment stickers come with purchase of the Machine Embroidery Webcast, the Basics and Beyond Machine Embroidery Webcast kit, excuse me. It comes in the kit already printed. Now, let's see. Found the free design, posted as you said, but the kit components are on the description. but not the kit. Okay. Yes, I apologize. I think I failed to put the Machine Embroidery Basics and Beyond kit link in the description of today's post, but I think it is in the chat or in the comments here. So, okay, perfect. Sorry, I've been talking about 2 different events, so I hope you're all following me here today because I'm kind of going back and forth. Okay. Let's see. Linda says, ooh, sign me up. Some may be refreshed, but you can never get too much education and information. Perfect. All right. Oh, and Jennifer says, we can't see your binder. That's in the way. All right, so I'll just show it again. This is my Sulky reference binder. It needs a cute little cover for it. But what I do is I grab these little plastic sheets that have the 3-hole, ring in them, and I put my test stitch outs inside. And what's great about these is if you have a dry erase marker, you can write on top of them, and then you can just erase that away if you want. Or if you want your notes to stay, I have a little label maker, and this is my section on thread. And then I also have a section on stabilizer. So I get the little dividers so that I can easily reference what I did. And you know what? It's even a great idea to keep those test stitch outs that don't work. You can have a section in the back that is stitch outs gone wrong, and just mark what you did so that you don't make that mistake again, right? So let's say I tried quilting cotton. I put a, let's see, a stiffy stabilizer with it, and look what happened. It totally changed the hand of the fabric because the stabilizer was too thick, or what have you. You can take notes on your stitch outs gone wrong. And I feel like that has such a good ring to it, and that we should write a book called Sulky Stitch Outs Gone Wrong and write about why it failed and how we recovered from that and how we made the stitch out fabulous. Don't steal my idea. You heard it here first. All right. So anyway, this is my binder. This is my section on thread. It'll say 40 weight rayon with a 60 weight bobbin. So for this, I chose just a built-in design on my machine, relatively easy, little bit of satin stitching, right? And then I use that same design with the same fabric and stabilizer combo because I knew that it worked. And I tested out all my different thread combinations. 40 weight poly deco with a 60 weight bobbin. I also used the same thread color or similar so that you could really see the difference between rayon, polyester, very slight difference. 30 weight cotton, same design, with a 50 weight bobbin. This is a 30 weight blendables. So this is an awesome reference I can go to whenever I'm starting a project, and I'm going to be going over this in greater detail during the webcast. So I don't want to give you all my secrets right now so that we have lots to talk about on February 15th. All right, so let's get to our project today. It's a very, very cute Valentine themed bunting. I love a bunting, cute little flag bunting you can create by hand or by machine. So I'm going to go over the hand work style or technique to create this. And the reason that we're starting with a handwork version is because I know a lot of you out there are way more advanced, or you love doing sewing machine projects, obviously. That's why we're all here, right? But when you do something by hand, it just kind of breaks up the monotony of using your sewing machine all the time. It kind of gives you something else to do with your hands, right? Exercise some different, areas of your hands. I don't know. Also, handwork designs are great for beginners. So when I think of Valentine projects, I almost always want to involve my kids because it just reminds me of growing up and making my Valentine box that I'm going to take to school and using those paper doilies and, you know, getting into my mom's button and ribbon stash in her sewing room and making handmade Valentine cards. And I mean, I just have so many fond memories of doing that growing up. And now, you know, it seems like kids just go buy, you know, a bag of ring pops and pop their friend's name on it. And there you have your Valentine, right? But I think it's just so fun to make little handmade cards, little handmade flag buntings. This little project doesn't require much fabric at all. And you can involve the kids, even younger kids can do the hand sewing on this. But of course, if you want to take this project and do it on your sewing machine, you will be able to see how easy that is as well. And we just need to swap out our threads and a little bit of the sewing, and you'll be able to do this on your machine, no problem. Now, this love bunting, you will find the pattern in our blog post, and I definitely link to that in the description of today's post. You'll get the pattern for the love letters that you will reverse to transfer to your Fusible web. We'll go over that momentarily, so you can print that out absolutely for free, as well as the little flag template that you can transfer to your fabric. Let's see. Anything else we need to talk about? All right. Deb, you're so funny. She says, I'm going to need a bigger binder if I'm going to include the mistakes. I know, right? All right. And then Linda wants a separate binder for the mistakes. That's probably a good idea. Separate binder for the mistakes. Okay. Back to our love bunting. So first off, you're going to print out your template that you'll find on the Sulky blog. And your letters are going to be oriented the correct way, but you need to use the mirror image of those to transfer to your perfect applique. We'll go over that, like I said. But you'll need to print off your pattern template. You need some perfect applique. A 1 yard pack is plenty for this project, but you may want to go up to a 3 yard, or, I mean, geez, if you do a lot of applique, grab yourself a bolt. Just saying. All right. Perfect applique, you also need some thread, of course. Now, since we are starting off with the handwork version of this project, we're going to be using our heavyweight 12 weight cotton thread for not only securing our appliques, but also for stitching our flags up. So we're going to use that same thread. So you might as well get 3 colors, 8 colors. You can really have fun with this. You can even use 12 weight cotton blendables and have a really pretty thread that is randomly dyed every 2.5 to 5 inches across the thread length, so that you get some different color variations in your applique or even in your construction stitches. And then one spool will do it all and give you lots of cool color variation. So that's up to you how much thread you want to use. If you're going to be constructing this on your sewing machine, you'll want to go down to about a 30 weight thread. That'll give you some nice texture and dimension for your appliques. And then to top stitch your flags, you could use that same 30 weight thread if you want that thread to pop, or you could use a 50 weight cotton construction thread if you want your thread to kind of blend in more to your fabric. Now, speaking of fabric, for the tutorial that's on the blog, oh, and I should mention too, this is designed by Chelsea Briner of So Simple Home. She's done a few projects for us. You might remember the little gnome mug rug that we're always talking about around Christmas time because it's adorable. But she's done a lot of projects for Sulky, and she just has a really great eye for these cute, super simple things you can create in no time and have, you know, something to show for it in an afternoon's time. This is such a super simple, quick project, which is really her thing, right? So Simple Home. All right, so she used just quilting cottons for this and let the raw edges, fly, because they're not really going to fray so much. I mean, this is a bunting that you'll hang. It's not like it's going to be washed a gazillion times and just fall apart. So we're going with the raw edge applique look here, and even the raw edge for our flags. But I was thinking too that you could use sulky felty sheets for your flags, and then you could also use felty for the letters that go on your flags. Let me go back to this picture. So for the felty, you would take a sheet and cut your bunting sort of, I wouldn't cut it on the fold using felty, but you have a front and a back of your flag, and they are connected. So if you're using quilting cotton, you'll cut your flags on the fold. If you're using felty, you will cut your flag, or you will trace one edge of your flag, flip it over, trace the other edge so that you have one long flag piece. Okay? Everyone following me? Okay. So you can choose to use quilting cottons, cotton fabric from your stash, and those great Valentine prints. Use your prints for either the lettering or the background fabric, and then swap out. So if you use a print for the background, I would use a solid for the applique. If you use a print for the applique, I would use a solid for the background, just for best readability of your flag. So lots of different fabric options for this. All right, so once you have your flags cut out, and like I said, you can apply this project to lots of different holidays. Maybe you want to create a happy birthday banner. So create tons of flags and print out some block letters on your word processing program and print those out. Maybe you want to create a flag bunting that has a baby's name on it and hang it over the crib or behind the crib. Super cute baby shower gift, and so easy to create. All right, so once you have all of your flags cut out, we're basically going to stick them together, or stick it together using Perfect Appliqué. But we are going to leave a little bit of margin along that fold, and that's going to be our casing where we're going to feed our ribbon through and put our flags on the ribbon. Everyone with me here? All right, so you're going to apply your Perfect Appliqué according to the instructions, which basically you take the shiny side, put it against the fabric wrong side, then you're going to peel the paper backing when you want to fuse it together. So here she is, removing that paper backing, and then fusing your flag, your flag top and your flag back, now that you've folded it, but leaving that little margin, and that's our casing. So you can see how great this would be in sulky felty, because your raw edges don't matter when you're working with felt. But if you're making a quick bunting for some quick decor, maybe gifting this to a teacher would be such a fun idea as well for their classroom. Some quilting cotton, the raw edges along where you added that Perfect Appliqué will be a little bit sealed because of the Perfect Appliqué, so I wouldn't worry too much about those raw edges. Now I will say on her bunting, she fuses it together and then adds the applique and then adds the stitching. Well, that means on the wrong side, you're also going to see that stitching. So if you prefer, you can add your applique letters before fusing your flag together. And that way, the back side of your stitches will be inside of your flag and no one will see them. All right, so just an idea for switching up her directions a little bit. So now you'll have as many flags as you are creating for your bunting. So if you're doing the love bunting as shown, you will need 4 flags. It can be different colors, all the same color, whatever you like. Now it is time to apply the fusible web to our applique fabrics. So you're going to do the same exact thing with fusing. You're going to put the shiny side against the fabric wrong side and give that a little bit of a fuse. Then you're going to transfer those letters from the free pattern onto the paper side of the fusible web. Notice that all of the letters are now mirror imaged. All right, so that when we put them on the flag, they will be oriented properly. So make sure to do that as well. This is a fun lesson for the kids too. All right, so once you've transferred that, it's as simple as cutting out your letters, then removing the paper backing of your fusible web. And yes, you can use fusible web on felty. Felty is a polyester felt. So it can be washed, you can press it, you can add fusible web to it, and it has a really luxurious feel to it. It almost feels like expensive wool felt. It's really, really great for sewing projects. It is manufactured in a special way so that it accepts a lot of stitches and needle penetrations and doesn't break down or create holes. It is like specifically made for like machine embroidery, freestanding items, patches. So it works really great for applique as well, especially raw edge, because again, it's not going to fray. But here she's using quilting cotton. And like I mentioned earlier, when you add that Perfect Appliqué fusible web to the quilting cotton, it kind of seals up those edges pretty good as well. So you have really minimal frayed edges, if any at all, over time. All right, so then you're going to center your letters on your flags and give them another fuse. So at this point, if you're going to fuse your flag together after your stitching is complete, then obviously your flag will still be one large piece instead of being fused down. So if you've already applied your fusible web to the back side of that flag, just make sure it's out of the way when you fuse your letter in place. That way you're not fusing that twice. You know, we fuse twice when we're using fusible web. The first one is to adhere the fusible web to the first fabric. The second one is to adhere the applique, right? So we want to make sure our iron isn't too hot and we're not fusing it too many times, because we could, you know, melt the fusible web and make our bond not as strong. Now, I will say with Sulky Perfect Appliqué fusible web, it is a very lightweight, awesome fusible web that gives you a super nice bond without changing the hand of your fabric. It's so lightweight, in fact, that after I fuse it and peel away the paper, I have to really, really examine my fabric and say, is it really on there? That's how lightweight it is, but it's really great quality. You'll love working with it if you haven't already. So now we're going to construct the flags. And again, if you want to conceal the raw edges of your applique stitches, this will become, this will be the step after stitching your appliques on. I hope I'm not confusing everyone again today with explaining two methods at the same time. So let me know if you're still with me. Give me a thumbs up or some kind of emoji so that I know everyone's following along here with me. All right, so to construct the flags, first you want to stitch along that casing along the upper edge, just to secure it nice and give it a little bit of decorative treatment. So if you're doing this by hand, you can just do a long running stitch. This is, again, great for the kids. Long running stitch along that casing area. And then you'll do a long running stitch just inside of the outer edge of your flag. So now you have a nice little outline using a contrasting thread so you can really see it. I love the super crafty look of this as well. So now is when Chelsea added her applique stitching, and you can do a blanket stitch, you can do a whip stitch, you could do another long running stitch just inside of the letter. So choose the stitch that you want to use if you're doing the handwork version. Now, if you're doing the sewing machine version, do your top stitching around your flag and then choose some super fun decorative stitches that you find on your sewing machine. Again, I would recommend using 30 weight cotton thread so that you can really see it, and it's a nice heavy weight. You'll want to use a 90-14 either top stitch or universal needle when you are doing your appliques with 30 weight thread. 30 weight thread requires a larger needle eye, so you need that 90-14 needle. If you're going to use, let's say, a 50 weight cotton for your construction and maybe even for your applique, because you want it to blend in a little bit more, maybe you want your fabric to be the star instead of your thread being the star. That's okay. We won't take too much offense to that here at Sulky. But if you want to use that 50 weight thread, you'll want to use a 70-10 or 75-11 needle for that thread for your appliques and construction. All right, so again, either do your applique stitching before you do your flag stitching and conceal all that wrong side of your applique, or you can do it after the flag is constructed, and then on the back side you'll just see that outline with your stitches. So the choice is yours. After all of your letters are stitched, all of your flags are sewn together in one way or another, you will find a pretty ribbon, attach a safety pin to it, feed your safety pin through the casing, and create your flag bunting. And here you have it, L-O-V-E. So cute. All right. So super simple. You can create this afternoon, really. If you have some of that Sulky Perfect Appliqué Fusible web, you're in good shape. If you need it, don't worry. Grab it at sulky.com. And again, if you like doing applique projects, I really suggest getting a larger pack of the Perfect Appliqué because you're going to use it all the time. I absolutely love it. Again, you know, working with Fusible web, sometimes you get that crinkly, kind of papery feeling Fusible web, and all of a sudden your project, you know, you don't want your flags hanging there stiff as a board. You want them to have a little bit of movement to them, right? So the Perfect Appliqué really helps you achieve that. Let me see if anybody has any questions about the applique or how this comes together. Let's see. Sharon says, do you have to do hand sewing? Could I use machine satin stitch or another applique stitch? Absolutely. Now, I will say if you want to use a satin stitch for your applique, I highly suggest adding a stabilizer to the fabric. So in addition to the Perfect Appliqué that's on the letter, behind your base fabric, I would put maybe even a tear easy stabilizer that's going to tear away after your satin stitching is complete. Especially if you're using a quilting cotton, that's a pretty lightweight cotton fabric. And in order to add all of that stitching to it, you're going to need to add thread count to the fabric in a sense. So that's what stabilizer is really doing. It's giving more surface for all of those stitches to grab onto. And that's going to prevent any kind of puckering that you might get when you're doing satin stitch applique. So I highly suggest adding a tear easy. You could even use a fusion stitch. Fusion stitch is a fusible, removable stabilizer. I know, you just do a light fuse, and then after your applique stitching is complete, you can peel it away lightly around that satin stitch edging, and you'll have a much prettier result. If you're doing a super directional satin stitch, I would also suggest a stabilizer under the fabric. And when I say super directional, I mean, let's say it's like a asterisk, joined asterisks, it's hard to say, along the edges of your words or your applique. And, your machine or your needle has to move in a lot of different directions to create those little stitches, even if they're all in a row, right? Well, I definitely would use a stabilizer behind there and do some test stitching to make sure that you know where your machine's going to move and make any adjustments to that decorative stitch that you might want to make. You know, if we have a small letter applique and we've chosen a big wave stitch, we don't want the stitches to overlap each other on either side of the letter. So you can, you know, adjust that based on your stitch width and your stitch length. So make a few adjustments, do some test stitch outs, put those tests in your reference binder. You don't just have to use this for machine embroidery. You can have a tab that says applique stitches or decorative stitches and put your test fabric in there and say, you know, this is stitch number 72 on my machine. And this is with a stitch length of 5.0 and a width of 4.2 or whatever you did to make it look great for your applique. Now you have that in your reference binder. So lots of different uses for that or ways to use it. All right. Yvonne says, I love Felty and have every color that Sulky sells. Amazing. So you are all set to make yourself a flag bunting. All right. And good tip from Deborah. She says, if you're going to do any machine stitching with any Fusible, you should use no stick needles so they don't get all gummy. We have those at sulky.com. They're called embroidery anti-glue needles. And just because they say embroidery doesn't mean they're only for machine embroidery. They would work great for machine applique, especially these tighter stitches using lots of threads like a satin stitch that you mentioned. So the anti-glue needle. Another thing you can use is, I always have it next to me, I promise. I always tell you guys it's next to me. And it isn't. It's called Sewer's Aid. And we have it at sulky.com. And it's somewhere in here. But Sewer's Aid is a water-based lubricant. Comes in a little bottle, kind of like Fray Check. But definitely don't put it with your Fray Check because you don't want to mix the two. But Sewer's Aid is a water-based lubricant you can put on your needle. All you need is a tiny little dab of it and just run it across your fingertips and put it on your needle. And it helps with threading the needle. And concentrate kind of on the needle eye if you're going to be threading, let's say a specialty thread, a metallic. It'll help with friction for metallic threads. Ooh, metallic threads would look great on the applique for this bunting, by the way. Anyways, it helps with that. Helps with any sort of fusibles you might be adding to your fabric, like Deb suggests. So things to think about. If you're adding these kits to your cart, and you need to get to that free shipping threshold again, add that perfect applique, add the Sewer's Aid. It's, oh, I see it right now in the corner of my cutting table over here. It's Sewer's Aid. It's staring at me. Anyway, it's relatively inexpensive. That little bottle of it will last a long, long time. All right. Noreen says, what is that? It's Sewer's Aid. Okay, I'm going to grab it. So bear with me because now that I found it, I've got to show it to you. Okay, here we go. Sorry. This is what it looks like. Sewer's Aid. And again, it's water-based. So if a little bit gets on your fabric or, you know, you're opening it and a little dot gets somewhere, no big deal. It's water soluble. So it's not going to put any oily, greasy residue on anything. It'll totally wash out. It's just really great to use. Even with hand sewing, I like to put this in my little travel sewing kit. So when I'm trying to thread a needle on, you know, a road trip or an airplane or something, so much easier to just grab a little bit of this. One little dot like this is really all you need. Just rub it between your fingers. And then before you even get your needle on your sewing machine, I don't know if I have a needle right here, but I'll demonstrate on a pin, I guess. Oh, here are little hand sewing needles. We sell these at sulky.com. These are called chenille needles from Primitive Gathering. They're great for heavier weight thread, and they're short needles. So nice size for hand sewing projects. But anyways, whether you're using this on a machine needle or a hand needle, just put a little bit on the needle eye, just like this. That is all you need. And it'll make it so much easier to thread. Now, a lot of people will grab the end of the thread that you are threading. Who is guilty of this? I need to demo it. You have your thread. Who's guilty of this? Going like this, licking your thread end, right? To get it into the needle eye. Who's doing this? So many of us. I mean, I still do it as well, even though I have all these tools. I catch myself doing it. So if you're doing that, try lubricating the needle eye instead of the thread end, and you will see how easy it slides through. Excuse me. I learned this tip from Sue Hausman, the great Sue Hausman from America Sews fame. Excuse me. I had her on our the Sew It All TV show back in the day, and she was on and did an entire show on tips and tricks. These little things that just help save your life and make things so much easier, that maybe require no extra money, no extra doodads and things like that. Just different ways of even just threading your sewing machine, threading a needle, making your chair more ergonomically friendly, things like this. I learned so much from her on that 27-minute episode that I have carried with me in my entire sewing career. And I really attribute so much to her and her knowledge. And simple things like your spool pins, right? There is a reason that your machine comes with all of these different sizes of spool pins. You don't want to use this giant spool pin on a small snap spool, because this is going to interfere with the tension and how your thread is threaded into your machine, and simply changing that to the right size is going to make things so much easier for you. So just little things like that. That was just another one that I remembered right now. But at any rate, try moistening the needle eye rather than the thread, and see if that changes things for you, especially when hand sewing. All right. That's what I was getting at. Okay. Oh, lots of people say, yes, me, I do that. Loving the sewer's aid. All right. Great scrap buster project. Absolutely. Love those. And I know Suzanne says, thanks. I always forget about the sewer's aid in my drawer. I know, just like my curved tip squeezers, which are at my sewing machine right now because I'm doing a project, I have 3 pairs of these because I'm always looking for it at my machine. I'm always looking for it at the cutting table. I like to take my project over to the cutting table, remove stabilizer, take a good look at it, and then I'll always notice a jump thread that I missed or something like that, and then I'm looking for these again. So I have a pair at my cutting table, a pair at my pressing area, and a pair next to my sewing machine. Just like that, I probably need some more of these. I have one in a drawer somewhere, and then I have one that kind of travels with me from machine to cutting table. So grab up a few of these so that it doesn't get lost like it does for me all the time. And putting one in your travel sewing kit, if you have one, great idea, because especially when we're sewing on the go, we're usually, repairing a button or doing something that requires a little bit of hand sewing. And just this little tip to help us thread that needle is really great. All right, Yvonne says, I have sewer's aid from a mystery box and will try it. Yes, especially if you're working with those metallic threads, right? Metallic threads can build up lots of friction and even heat, especially when we're doing high-speed sewing like satin stitch applique or machine embroidery. So adding a little bit of that sewer's aid reduces a little bit of that friction and is going to allow you to have a smoother stitch out. And you don't have to just use it with metallic thread. You can actually use it with any threads that you're using. So give it a try. Leslie says, I have small scissors by each of my 4 machines. 4 machines! I love it. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I have 6 machines, including my Sergers. But I'm sure some of you have me beat. If not, a lot of you have me beat out there. All right, Melanie says, hi from San Antonio. Hey, Melanie. Great to have you. All right, so I wanted to let you all know that QuiltCon is at the end of February, and Sulky is a proud sponsor at QuiltCon. So I don't know if any of you have checked out the offerings, or if any of you are in the Atlanta area or want to take a quick trip on down there for the weekend. QuiltCon is a great time. There's a huge quilt show all the time. Vendors galore, lots of classes to take in person, lectures, inspiring keynote speaker, all kinds of fun things. So if you're a quilter and want to check that out, it's in Atlanta from February 23rd to the 26th. And I will be there with some of my Sulky colleagues. So come and check it out. All right, let's see. What is the name of those non-stick needles? So at sulky.com, they are called anti-glue embroidery needles. Anti-glue. All right. Betsy, I knew you were going to have me beat. Something told me. She says, I have 10 machines in 3 different locations. That's a lot of scissors. Amazing. All right. And please ignore, we have like a spammer in the comments, so we'll take care of that. Please ignore all of that, guys. All right. Another thing I want to share with you, I did mention craft tours at the top of today's show. So another thing to plan for at the end of 2023 is our fabulous trip to London that we are doing with craft tours. It is November 25th to December 3rd. We will be going to some Downton Abbey locations. We will be doing a Harry Potter exhibit. We will go to Stonehenge. We will go to Charles Dickens' grave. There are so many things packed in to this experience, and it's going to be amazing. We will be shopping at Liberty of London. Okay? So get your fabric stashes cleared out so that you have room for all the beautiful fabrics that you will come home with. I can't wait to show you what I come home with. Oh, so excited. All right, this is going to be an awesome trip. It's also kind of around holiday times, right? So we will be able to check out the Christmas markets in England. And, you know, I've gone to the Christmas markets in Germany. Amazing. Love it. I have such precious gifts and decor and ornaments and things. What a great time. So I'm really excited to see how that differs in this part of the world. So come along with me. Join me on this craft tours trip of a lifetime, and you can check out more. I put the link to our tour on the craft tours site at in the description of the post today. So you can go over and check it out. They have payment plans available. And especially if you get registered now, it being January, you'll have plenty of time to spread out your payments across all of 2023, making it a lot more manageable to attend. So check it out. I would love to see you there. And that's how I got to know Deb. who is always here. I always call her out because we had such a great time together, and it's just one of my favorite things that I've ever done, honestly. And, of course, we just got back from our last craft tours trip in Italy and Germany, where we went to the great Pinot Grasso embroidery studio. And it was the start of Fashion Week in Milan. So just so wonderful and exciting. So if you've never, had gone on a tour or trip like this, you will make friends for a lifetime. I still have, a text thread from our very first craft tours with Deb and friends. And, we still check in on each other for major holidays and goings on. And I have, a thread from our Italy and Germany tour of just so many people that have the same interests, and it's a wonderful time. So if you don't have a travel buddy, but you want to see the world, this is the way to do it, because you're going to make friends the very first 30 seconds that we all join each other at the airport on our way. All right, so I'm done gushing about that, but I'm really excited that we're doing another one of these and going to London. So check it out and see if you can make it, and I would love to see you there. All right, so speaking of love, have a great time making your love bunting or making it, personalized for a person or different holiday. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Create something fabulous, and I'll see you next Tuesday for another So What?